Welcome back, everybody. We are recording from Nashville, Tennessee, and have quite the show ahead of us. As I've been hinting at or referencing, I have a debate on the Daily Wire, so that'll be later tonight, but that's why we're here in a hotel room. And so much to get into. Thank you for joining us, starting with the big news of today, which is that our commander-in-chief lost his ever-loving mind because people reminded him reminded service members what their obligation to the Constitution is. That's it. And now you have a full-blown crisis for Trump and a psychotic episode of sorts taking place publicly. That's what we'll get into. Let me play you the video that set him off. His defenders, there's no way to defend what he's been saying. I'll just spoil it a little bit, but stick around for all that we have to break down in this segment, which is that he's calling for the death of Democratic lawmakers. That's it. Do you remember we have to lower the temperature? Shouldn't that start at least with the president? And now he's literally calling for treason-induced executions and losing his mind, as I said. Before showing you his reaction, here is the video that set him off. Democratic lawmakers who have served in the military made a video reminding service members the law, which is that they have not just the ability, but the obligation to defy brazenly illegal actions or directives.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
Who take risks each day
To keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals.
against American citizens.
like us. You all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
But from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
you must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
Or our Constitution.
We know this is hard.
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
In the Army,
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
Your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution, and
And who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
So they didn't even name something specific. They're just pointing to Trump's partisan politicizing, I should say, of the military. We've been covering that extensively, and how he has a track record of wanting unconstitutional things to happen, and then saying it is the law that you have the ability and obligation to defy illegal orders. CNN notes this right here. Service members are required to follow only lawful orders in accordance with the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Following an order that might violate the law could open service members up to prosecution, as legal precedent holds that receiving an order alone isn't a defense, colloquially known as the Nuremberg defense, as it was deployed by senior members of Adolf Hitler's leadership team during legal proceedings after World War II. So they're saying something pretty benign. It seems provocative, but it's actually pretty benign. What is this? Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. If you had a commanding officer say to a seaman, a Navy seaman, right? It tickled me. My brothers took seamanship classes in the Navy. Whatever, okay? We're all kids inside a little bit. And imagine you had a strong seaman standing there, and his commanding officer says, "Here's a bucket of babies. Light it on fire." You would have the obligation to say no. That would violate a bunch of laws and international laws, etc. And that's what they're reminding people of in this unprecedented time of Trump's unconstitutional behavior. Not saying rebel in this way or don't take this particular act. Just a general reminder from people who had served in the military. And it set MAGA on fire. Matt Schlapp said they're planning a coup which of course the guy he supports is the only person of recent memory who tried a coup, but okay. Then Trump's posts come in. He said it's called seditious behavior at the highest level. Each one of these traitors to our country should be arrested and put in jail. Put on trial, I should say. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. We won't have a country anymore. An example must be set. Then he said, this is really bad and dangerous to our country. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. Seditious behavior from traitors. Lock them up? Question mark, question mark, question mark. President DJT. And finally, seditious behavior, punishable by death. Punishable by death. If you are someone in the MAGA universe who's been saying, in light of recent events, which I totally understand, that we need to lower the temperature, or that violent language is only coming from the left, I'd love you to check in on this, and I'd be interested in hearing your take. He's saying these Democratic members of Congress should be put to death. To which some of his supporters in the comments are hyped. Look at this one person, just the top comment. This is exactly what we want to see from Trump. This is what we voted for. Foot meet gas pedal. Go. Miles Taylor said, so let's get this straight. Democrats warn public servants not to obey illegal orders. Then Trump responds by proposing the illegal murder of elected leaders. I feel like he kind of proved their point. They post it and a lot of MAGA goes, oh my gosh, what are they trying to allude to? Are they saying that Trump would act in brazenly illegal ways as commander-in-chief? That's ridiculous. Kill them! His response is proving the point. Imagine he tasked military members with doing this, what he's calling for. That would be an example of an illegal order that they wouldn't follow. One of the people in that video, Congressman Jason Crow, appeared on Fox News, and the Fox host was very unhappy with how he was handling the interview. While you watch this, please do click the subscribe button if you appreciate that we're making the show happen in this hotel room, desperately trying to figure out how to get this very loud AC off, which we figured out, but now it's getting toasty. If you appreciate that, click the subscribe button.
We're seeing actually is recruitment rising. And people wanting to join the military under the president.
Here's an interesting fact for you, Martha. Our men and women actually are very smart, very incredible men and women in our military. And
you don't have to tell me that.
Well, apparently I do.
No, you don't, sir. I have great respect for the United States military.
Well, you don't think they can handle a reminder about federal law and the UCMJ, is what I'm hearing. And a recent survey showed that 8 out of 10 service members deeply understand their obligation of lawful orders, right? 8 out of 10. So we want to get that. That should be 10 out of 10. But this is something that they're trained on. Go and look at the training. Maybe even go and participate or observe some of the training that our men and women go through. It is incredible. We expect a lot of these men and women. They go through very intense, rigorous training because they're put in intense, rigorous positions. And frankly, I bristle at the notion that they can't handle a suggestion or a reminder of what the law requires them to do and what the Constitution requires them to do. You actually disparage them when you say that a simple reminder is something they cannot handle.
You're wrong.
So you get the point. She was not happy with that. But it's true. They're making a whole deal out of it. You have Stephen Miller claiming that this is an insurrection.
Stephen, and one that you see as insurrection?
It is insurrection, plainly, directly, without question. And when you have one of the lawmakers on that video being unable to state in, as you say, lengthy cross-examination, a single so-called illegal order, it just proves the point. It's a general call for rebellion from the CIA and the armed services of the United States by Democrat lawmakers, saying that you have not only the right but the duty and the obligation to defy orders of the commander-in-chief, that those who carry weapons in America's name should defy their chain of command and engage in open acts of insurrection, that the CIA, the clandestine service, which isn't even legally authorized to operate in the United States, should engage in, again, acts of rebellion and insurrection. These lawmakers should honestly resign in disgrace.
Do you think that's what he wanted to say? You could tell he was thinking about something closer to the bucket of babies analogy.
There's something fucked up about that motherfucker.
All right, Hunter, we know. I'm with you, but just, I don't know if we need you right now.
And never return to public office again for even daring to think, let alone to say these words and to say them proudly.
Just like repeat what the law is. No, the point is they didn't name. I think y'all would be way more upset if they specifically said, don't follow orders as it pertains to illegal strikes against Venezuelan boats. Then you would really be freaking out. I know for sure. This was just a general reminder. This is the law. He was back to being upset. He had a moment of joy after he hung out with MBS at their dinner, which you can try to figure that one out. Look at happy Stephen Miller.
Staff Homeland Security Advisor. He was in attendance. Oh, look, he's all dressed up in a tux. Look at Stephen Miller all cleaned up here. All right, you were there tonight. I want you to analyze this.
It was a magnificent evening, Sean, a magnificent day.
So I've never seen Stephen Miller this happy. And the fantastic day he's talking about was when Trump justified the killing of a Washington Post journalist by MBS, or approved by MBS. And that's what really titillates Stephen Miller, having dinner with that guy. It really gets him going. Meanwhile, something that also might get him going, the Coast Guard will no longer classify swastikas and nooses as hate symbols. Instead, they'll be classified as potentially divisive. Potentially divisive. Swastikas. The U.S. Coast Guard will no longer classify the swastika, an emblem of fascism and white supremacy, inextricably linked to the murder of millions of Jews, and that more than 400,000 U.S. troops died fighting against in World War II, as a hate symbol. And instead, the insignia will be potentially divisive under its new guidelines. So, what's the reaction of Stephen?
This.
It was a magnificent evening, Sean, a magnificent day.
Okay. Well, that's strange. Then you have the Deputy Attorney General saying there needs to be investigations, or at least open to that idea, into the Democrats who made this video.
And that is wrong.
Your resume as an attorney and your background and experience.
This is the guy who had that long conversation with Ghislaine, and then she was transferred to a bougie prison against protocol.
Lends me to believe that you know the answer to the question you're asking me. You're number 2 at the DOJ. Does this need to be investigated? And what would the investigation be under?
Well, the investigation would absolutely be under what their intent was in saying this. And the question, we've all watched this a lot today, and the question you have to ask yourself is, what is their intent? What is the reason that they all...
Now, we're going to talk about later Levitt trying to justify this. It went very poorly, as you can imagine. But it's fascinating because I get how this plays into all of their preconceived notions. Trump's fighting the deep state. Now they're trying to get military members to rebel. Like, it plays into their whole narrative. And the news cycle could have been that for them. But Trump's so unhinged that he goes, this is punishable by death. So now, is it relevant at all that some members of Congress made a video saying, hey, we learned when we were in the military that you can refuse to comply with illegal orders? Which is something they're extensively taught about, from my understanding. That's so irrelevant. Outrage about that video when the president of the United States is saying that was treasonous to the point where they should be executed. Now, of course, all the defenders go, no, he didn't mean that. He meant like metaphorically and sort of in a way that you wouldn't be able to understand, because he speaks, you know how the Bible has a lot of these stories, and if you take them literally, then you won't really get the essence of the parable. Trump speaks in parables in that way. It's like they should be killed in that their argument should be defeated, you know? And the thing that drives me crazy, could you pull up an image of, if you search Biden democracy speech read and put that on the screen in a second here, there have been tiny, by comparison, scandals, not even scandals, in some cases scandals, of Democrats saying things that out of context, or if you took too literally, could sound close to violence. Or in the case of Biden, just that he gave a speech and the way that this particular image was cropped, because there was red and blue because of America, made it to where there was only a red background. Yeah, right. So if you crop it, though, then it's just red. And they said, see, he's Hitler. He's trying to be Hitler with the red, and he's saying MAGA, and this is so scary. They did a whole news cycle about it. Hitler red, Nazi. And then they turn around and are okay with Trump literally saying death, not going, we got to put Trump in we got to put the bullseye on Trump, I think was the Biden quote they freaked out over. But actually using the word death. I don't know how you defend it. In a normal world, this would be presidency ending. But if you don't want that to happen, no need to fear. Because someone named Katie Kerr, who is a prophetess, I guess she calls herself, a prophet, but like a female prophet. Can we just call prophet? I don't know why we need a addition for females, but she is saying, she's speaking, God's speaking through her right now. Ready? And she's saying nothing's going to be able to take down Trump.
Sit as the high judge.
This is God.
No one can impeach me. And no one will be able to impeach Trump. I have appointed him, anointed him.
Yes.
He is my president for America.
Yes.
And will be so until I am finished with his assignment.
Right. Amen.
Anyone who tries to take his life will lose their life.
Wow.
For he has our protection. He has said yes to everything I have asked for.
So the other person on this stream is Kelsey. Are you buying this, Kelsey? Kelsey's like, yes. Cat. Did I say Katie? Is it Cat? Cat Kerr. God. When God chose to speak to his people, he needed a voice. Because God is all of us and in us, but is not us. So he must use a human mouth to convey his message. And when God looked down upon the earth to convey his message of support for Trump, he chose Kat Kerr as his megaphone. At Kat Kerr Rocks. All right, Kat. I don't know. Maybe God's speaking through you. You want to get into real authoritarianville? You have Trump calling for the death or saying it would be justified for Democrats to be executed for reminding people of their legal obligation. Meanwhile, look at this reporting. Larry Ellison, one of Trump's buddies, might soon be taking over Warner Bros. Discovery. This is kind of a hard thread. It's like this company owns that company and Larry's in this company. But whatever. The point is, look at this reporting. Larry Ellison and senior White House officials reportedly discussed axing two CNN hosts Trump hates most, Aaron Burnett and Breonna Keeler, in a shakeup promised as he courts regulatory approval for a Paramount Skydance takeover of the network's parent company, Warner Bros. So again, we have this situation. This is the real world we're in now, where Trump, while he's making insane authoritarian, dangerous threats, if any one of those Democrats had to act of political violence against them, this would be a situation where it actually could be connected very directly to what Trump just said, because he said it explicitly, that execution would be justified. So what is one of his crazy followers going to do in that situation? Not misconstruing normal political speak. We got to fight. And, but if you take fight, actually using the word death. So that's happening. Very dictator stuff. You speak out against Trump, you should be killed. And then meanwhile, Larry wants to be, involved in more companies. But to do so, if this ends up formalizing, he might have to make a deal, and he seems fine with it, to censor voices on CNN that Trump doesn't like. Nothing is more un-American than that. While Trump's still posting about Jimmy Kimmel, by the way, why does ABC fake news keep Jimmy Kimmel, a man with no talent and very poor television ratings, on the air? Why do the TV syndicates put up with it? Also, totally biased coverage, get the bum off the air. I'm sure his FCC commissioner will act on that very soon. So with all of this going on, what important issue have we not spoken about? Well, it's what Mike Lee brought to all of our attention. Remember which president, Republican Senator Mike Lee says, produced this Christmas video at the White House? Ugh. It's literally just people dressed in Christmas outfits dancing. Is there anything else? Is like a furry about to pop up? What's the outrage over? No, look. So I'm assuming this was made under Biden. I don't know. That's probably what he's trying to say. And we're supposed to be outraged because they're dancing and smiling. Someone named Kyle said, it's unfathomable to boomer-brained right-wing freaks that normal... that's not my language. This is Kyle's language. I don't know why the boomer term's in there. We have amazing older folks who watch the show who get it. But right-wing freaks that normal people actually don't dwell on and seethe over this stuff. I've never seen this before. I don't know who was president then. I sleep in a big bed with my wife. So the point is, it's strange how they hold on to and experience outrage over the most random things like a happy Christmas video. It's a happy Christmas video. It's insane. But they're not outraged. So they're outraged over a pretty lady dancing in a cute outfit. But they're not outraged over the president saying Democrats should be put to death.
These motherfuckers are crazy.
Right? Right, Kamala? I don't even have time for this, but I guess now they're going back and learning more about Tyler Robinson. We did a video about Tucker's video, but now they have a new edition that apparently the shooter is into, quote unquote, was into muscle mommies.
Yeah, maybe he's transgender. I don't know. I mean, he had the they, them pronouns, and then he's into muscle mommies. I don't know if what that makes you, but not something I'm understood that I understand. Go to...
What are muscle mommies, number one? Number two, sounds great. Sounds cool. It's like fun. The alliteration's fun. What I'm picturing is fun. And I saw them saying he had a furry fetish. Okay. What's the relevance here? What are we talking about? And why are we just talking about this now? Because the FBI was covering up the truth about Thomas Crooks. Every time they say that, I'm like, oh, did you prove the conspiracy you had, which is it wasn't a lone shooter. He was groomed by the Biden administration or intelligence, and it was really an op. And then they go, no, we didn't find evidence of that, but we think he might have been attracted to furries. So that they were hiding that. I mean, that would be a weird thing to put in an FBI report. I don't really know why that would. Thomas Crooks really, in a devastating fashion, literally killed somebody. So that's very serious. Imagine a report, kill somebody, almost killed Trump. Subheading, used they, them pronouns. Subheading was into muscle mommies. We thought that should be a part of the report. Bizarre.